l'honneur, le bon sens, l'intérêt supérieur de la patrie commande à tous les Français libres de continuer le combat là où ils seront et comme ils pourront. J'invite tous les Français qui veulent rester libres à m'écouter et à me suivre. Vive la France, libre, dans l'honneur et dans l'indépendance.
Hi, I'm Rory, creator of The Bald Truths, and I'm standing here outside the BBC, where on the 18th of June 1940, General Charles de Gaulle gave one of the most important speeches in French history that marked the turning point in the liberation of France and the beginning of his 4 years of exile here in London. Over the next 4 years, he was much more likely to be found here at his private office at 4 Carlton Gardens in St James, a permanent cigarette in hand, quietly planning the eventually successful liberation of France. And today we have the rare privilege of being given access to this office, where de Gaulle wrote that famous speech and coordinated the French resistance throughout the war. And I'm especially privileged to be joined by Phillips watch specialist Marcello who has brought with him Charles de Gaulle's personal pocket watch.
The pleasure is all mine, Rory. Indeed, this is not just a personal pocket watch, but as you said, it's a watch that was given to him for victory over World War II. That is why you have the map of the world, the V of victory, and the engraving, 1939, General Charles de Gaulle, 1945.
Tell us a bit about this watch. What makes it unique?
Well, first of all, it's a Cloisonné world-time enamel, already technically speaking, a very important watch made by a very famous watchmaker who devised the wartime system, Cottier. It was invented to show the time throughout all the time zones in the world. In the 40s, because telecommunications started to arrive, you would be able to speak with Japan from London. Even the Cloisonné is different. There are 4 of these watches. Charles de Gaulle has Joan with a war boat and a sailboat, symbolizing war and peace, holding La Croix de Lorraine, which is the symbol of the French resistance during World War II, and even the hour end reprises the Croix de Lorraine. Then we have the 3 made, one for Stalin, one for Churchill, and one for Truman. On top of that, a clock was made for the widow of Roosevelt.
Gosh, yeah, and it was made a long time ago. It was made in the 40s. Forgive me, but does it still work?
It actually works very smoothly. Battery smooth, you see the hands obviously are turning, as well as the 24-hour track.
So you're clearly an enthusiast for unique watches that have got a story to them. What's it like for you when you come across a piece like this?
In this case, we have a Cottier made world time, so the invention of the system made by the inventor of the system, which was communicated what he was working on. He knew this would go to the 4 leaders. The case makers and the dial makers didn't know. It was a secret. Only the watchmaker knew. And you have Cloisonné enamel, which is one of the most delightful and exquisite ways of decorating a watch, even nowadays. The difference is that nowadays you have some low restrictions on the component you can use while doing Cloisonné, and you cannot achieve the same glossiness as a vintage Cloisonné enamel. So you have the best of both worlds, an incredibly important historical timepiece and an incredibly refined technical timepiece. It all comes together in this very pocket watch. Okay, Rory, so we came up to the rooftop of the building. Imagine how many times Charles de Gaulle came up here to smoke a cigarette, and now we brought back the piece to this very same place. Even though it's not just out of intellectual curiosity or fun, it's because the translucency of the Cloisonné enamel.
It's incredible.
And it can only be truly appreciated under natural light. It's here in London today. It will be on May 9th in Geneva. And good luck to all the bidders. See you at Phillips.